Her son was stolen, and she never stopped looking for him. After 5 years, when she becomes the nanny of a millionaire's son, she can't believe what fate has in store for her. It was a beautiful, sunny day, and Lucy was ready to start a new phase in her life. Lucy was a single mother. She didn't have the support of her family, and the father of her baby abandoned her as soon as he heard she was pregnant. Despite being alone, she was determined to look after her son, Matthew, with all the love in the world. After a few days recovering from the birth in the maternity ward, Lucy was more than ready to take her baby home and begin this beautiful phase in her life. She came out of the maternity ward, holding her son in one arm while trying to hold a diaper bag and her belongings in the other. As she walked, the feeling of becoming a mother filled her heart with joy. Now, she would care for her son with all her being. A light breeze carried her worries away, and she knew for sure that no matter what challenges life threw her way, she could overcome them. But then, something horrible happened. A black car, which had been following her, stopped abruptly next to her. Before Lucy could realize what was happening, a large man in a ski mask got out of the car and covered her face with a black hood. The poor girl felt her baby being ripped from her arms. Lucy was terrified. "No, my baby! Get back my baby," she screamed while fighting against the man. Lucy screamed as loudly as she could, begging for help. She could hear her baby crying, being taken away by the kidnappers, but despite her pleas, no one came to help her. She screamed, kicked, and tried with all her strength to free herself and save her son. Then, terror gripped her body as she was hit on the head and passed out on the floor, knowing she could no longer save her son. Lucy woke up in the middle of the street, in tears. Her whole body hurt, but not as much as her heart. The pain of childbirth felt new again, but nothing compared to the pain of losing a child. Desperate, Lucy got up and ran through the streets, stopping everyone in her path, begging for help. "They took my son. They took my baby. Please help me," Lucy cried desperately. People were apprehensive when Lucy approached them. They seemed to think she was just a crazy woman. They felt sorry for her but did nothing to help. The sky seemed to cry with the young mother. A light rain began to fall, and Lucy, tired and devastated, fell to her knees and began to cry. The warm tears that ran down her face mixed with the cold rain, creating a feeling of intense pain. All Lucy could do was look up to the heavens and beg for a miracle, beg to have her son back. She remained there, on her knees in the rain, as her soul shattered into 1,000 pieces. And so, 5 years passed. Lucy never stopped searching for her lost son, but life moved on and took her down different paths she could never have imagined. Lucy had always been a very kind and caring girl with a big heart. But unfortunately, 5 years before, she met a handsome young man who promised her the world. He was a gentleman, and Lucy thought she had found the love of her life. However, when she told him she was pregnant, he abandoned her and disappeared into the world. After her baby was kidnapped, Lucy fell into a major depression and barely recovered. She had to take medication for the terrible pain she felt, but still, Lucy suffered every day. The horror she experienced on that fateful day never stopped haunting her. Many times, she would wake up screaming and shaking in the middle of the night due to the terrible nightmares she had. It seemed like life had never made things easier for Lucy. She was an only child and was not close to her parents. When her parents discovered that she was pregnant and that her boyfriend had abandoned her, they kicked her out of the house, leaving her completely alone to fend for herself. With nowhere else to go, Lucy had to do anything she could to support herself. She worked several part-time jobs just so she could eat and have a place to live. She went through a lot of difficulty on a daily basis. She lived in a tiny apartment with a leaky ceiling and mold on the walls. She could barely buy the basics like food and clothes, and she spent every sleepless night thinking about her son. The only thing motivating her was the hope that one day she would meet her son again. Despite all her suffering, Lucy decided to work hard and save every penny she could to one day hire a detective to find her son. Lucy needed to find a good job to support herself and save her money. Giving up was not an option, and she was determined to give her all. Then, one day, Lucy was looking at the job listings in the newspaper and found a vacancy to work as a nanny for a rich family. The parents needed a full-time nanny to look after their son. The salary was very generous and would be enough for her to improve her life and also to finally hire a private detective. Full of hope, Lucy called the number indicated in the listing and scheduled her job interview. On the day of the interview, Lucy put on her best clothes, combed her hair, and took a taxi to the mansion. When she arrived, she was stunned by the incredible view of the big mansion in front of her. She was enchanted by the greatness of the place and wondered how different her life would have been if she had grown up in such a place. However, Lucy felt a wave of nervousness. Certainly, the people who lived in this mansion were extremely rich people who could be rude and petty and could end up mistreating her. She took a deep breath and set her worries aside. Lucy rang the doorbell and was greeted by a handsome man with blue eyes and a contagious smile. "Hello, you must be Lucy." "I'm William, the father." "Nice to meet you," said the man with a big smile. "Please come in. I'll show you around." William took Lucy on a tour of the mansion. The environment was luxurious and well decorated with expensive art and designer furniture. They walked to the room where the interview would take place. Lucy tried to behave as elegantly as possible while answering William's questions. "Oh my, he is so handsome," she thought to herself. Handsome, kind, and rich, who would have thought? William, besides being very handsome, was extremely kind and generous. His friendly personality captivated Lucy's eyes, and she couldn't stop staring at him. She expected him to be an arrogant and cold man, just like all the rich people she had ever worked for, but he was the complete opposite of that. The millionaire asked about her skills and experiences with children, and Lucy replied that she had always liked children and got along with them very well. William explained his situation. "The truth is that my wife, Rachel, and our son, Peter, don't get along very well. She can't take care of him alone, and I'm trying to spend more time working from home so I can take care of my son too, but we need help. Peter is only 5 years old, and he needs a lot of attention. So, we need someone who can keep an eye on him all day." Lucy listened intently, trying to understand the family dynamic and how she would fit into it. Suddenly, Rachel stormed into the room, holding her son in her arms. She was an elegant woman with an air of royalty and arrogance but looked deeply irritated. Without even saying hi, the woman said, "Oh, thank goodness, the new nanny is here. Just take him far, far away from me. I can't handle him today any longer." Lucy, surprised, replied, "I'm still doing my interview, ma'am. I'm not the nanny yet." "I don't care. I just need him away from me," said the rich woman, already leaving the room. William was extremely embarrassed by his wife's behavior and, while holding his son in his arms, explained that, for some reason, the boy had never liked his mother. Then he introduced the little one, Peter, to the young woman. "This is Peter, my son. Say hi, big boy." To William and Lucy's surprise, the little boy immediately ran and sat on her lap, and she welcomed him tenderly into her arms. William watched the scene, amazed by the instant connection between the two. "I've never seen Peter do this with someone he just met before." "Yeah, you were right, you have a way with children," he said, smiling. "It's true. I really like children," replied Lucy, also smiling, with Peter still on her lap. Lucy answered a few more questions from William about her expectations for the job and when she would be available. As they talked, it seemed like Lucy and Peter had already formed a bond. Then, without thinking twice, William decided, "Lucy, I'm impressed with how well you connected with my son. The job is yours if you want it." Lucy was thrilled and replied with a big smile, "Oh my God, wow, thank you very much, Mr. William." Early the next day, Lucy was at the mansion, ready for her first day of work. Life in the mansion was a lot of work, and Lucy dedicated herself to spending time with Peter and soon got used to the boy's routine. William was impressed by how much his son liked Lucy. He began to observe how the bond between the two grew stronger every day. Lucy taught Peter how to read, how to write, and the two would play and draw together. She was a great friend to his boy. William was more than happy to see that Peter was able to connect so well with the new nanny. However, he wished Rachel would also have a good relationship with his son, but she was always distant. Rachel, on the other hand, didn't even care about the new nanny and preferred it that way. If Lucy could take care of her son, then she didn't have to. But Rachel's constant absence bothered William. He wanted his family to be close and for Peter to be as close to Rachel as he was to Lucy. A lot of times, Lucy would arrive at the mansion to work and hear the couple fighting. "He is your son, Rachel, and you treat him like a stranger," William said, frustrated. The woman angrily replied, "So what? I can't take this anymore. Every day, it's the same thing. We have a nanny now. I don't have to stress myself with that kid anymore. I'm so done with all of this. Tomorrow, I'm going to Greece. I'm going to take my friends with me on a nice, relaxing trip. I'll be gone for a whole month. When I get back, we can talk." "What? So you're just going to leave? What about Peter?" asked the millionaire. "I've told you a million times, we have a nanny. I don't have to deal with that little pest anymore. I confess, at first, I just thought she wouldn't last long like the others, but since he liked her, well, now I'm free to do whatever I want," said the rich woman, heartlessly. Rachel's irresponsibility broke the couple's relationship, which had been falling apart for a long time. Now, he no longer trusted that Rachel would do what was best for their son. However, William had to stay strong for Peter and be there for him. The only thing that brought peace to the rich man's heart was seeing how attentive and loving Lucy was with his son. And so, the days passed. William noticed how Lucy always spoke kindly to Peter, treating him with love and always putting him first. After a while, Lucy also began to take care of William. She saw how hard he worked and never had time to prepare his own meals, so she started cooking tasty meals for him. Little by little, these small gestures made him more and more attracted to Lucy. Despite the relationship between William and Rachel breaking down, he was still married. William and Lucy began to share small conversations, which brightened the mood in the house. "Thank you for taking such good care of my son, Lucy, and for taking care of me too. You brought happiness to this house," William said with a big smile on his face. "He is a very special boy. I like him, and I'm happy to spend time with him," she answered sincerely. Something was changing in William's heart. He found himself looking at Lucy and Peter playing together, wishing that this was his family, wishing his family was united and loving like Lucy and Peter's relationship. One day, William came home with a new look. He had just gotten a haircut, and somehow, he looked even more handsome. When Lucy caught sight of William, her heart raced, and her thoughts got out of control. "Wow, he is so handsome." "Stop it, Lucy." Peter also liked his father's new look and began to insist that he wanted a similar haircut. "Is that so, big boy?" asked the man. The three laughed happily, and then suddenly, William approached Lucy, looked straight into her eyes, and asked, "And you, Lucy, did you like it?" She blushed and, very embarrassed, answered sincerely, "Yes, yeah, it looks really nice." William smiled, pleased with the answer, and the atmosphere between the two became more and more romantic. William and Lucy looked at each other and felt the palpable chemistry that existed between them, but which they tried to hide. William then suggested that since Peter wanted a haircut like his so much, Lucy should take him to the barber. She agreed and said, "Let's go, big boy. Let's get your hair cut." Peter happily said how he wanted his hair to look exactly like his father's. Lucy watched the little boy and felt great happiness at being able to share moments like this with him. However, Lucy could never have imagined how her life would change in a matter of seconds. When the barber cut Peter's hair, Lucy was shocked when she saw that the little boy had the same birthmark as her lost son, a small constellation of stars on his neck. The pain of losing her son felt new again, and Lucy began to feel a whirlwind of emotions but tried her best to hide it. The barber finished his work, and little Peter ran to Lucy to show off his new look. "How do I look, Lucy? Do I look good?" You look very handsome, big boy, she said, smiling to hide her emotions. Your father will love it. Lucy spent the whole way back thinking about her lost son and how it was possible that Peter had the same birthmark. Was it possible that Peter was her lost son? Lucy felt confused, distressed, and hopeful. Arriving at the mansion, William was waiting to see his son's new look. Wow, you look awesome, huh, big boy? At that moment, Lucy and William looked at each other, bringing to the surface all the feelings they were desperately trying to hide. Lucy needed to find out the truth, but she was afraid that if Peter was really her son, how William would handle the situation and what their relationship would be like if her suspicions turned out to be true. She was torn. Lucy didn't want to destroy a family, but she needed to find out the truth, no matter what the cost. She had waited years for this moment, and now she needed to make a decision. Poor Lucy, she was torn between finding her son and destroying William's life. That day, at the end of her work, Lucy was in the kitchen, getting ready to go home. Peter was very excited during the day and ended up going to bed late that night. The rain that fell outside reflected the pain and suffering that Lucy was feeling. Then, without Lucy noticing, William entered the kitchen, shirtless. Lucy was embarrassed and didn't know where to look. William's beauty was breathtaking. In his soft voice, he asked, "Leaving already, Lucy?" Trying not to show her feelings, Lucy looked at the floor as she picked up her things and replied, "Well, yes, I already put Peter in bed, so I..." William approached her, getting closer and closer. "I just wanted to thank you for everything you have done for us, for me and Peter. I know it hasn't been easy, but you've been amazing in so many ways. I don't even know how I can repay you." Lucy finally gathered her courage and raised her head, meeting William's beautiful eyes, which shone with sincerity and admiration. "Thank you, Mr. William. That means a lot. I just care for you too, and I just want what's best for him. Please, just William. You don't have to call me Mr.," said the rich man in a loving tone. William got even closer, and the two were centimeters from each other's faces. William's eyes were fixed on Lucy's lips, and she could feel his warm breath on her cheeks. Then, as if it were inevitable, the two kissed, surrendering to the passion that consumed them. The kiss was sincere and full of passion, bringing to light what they had been feeling for a long time. But then, reality hit them, making them pull away, embarrassed. "Lucy, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that." "It wasn't right," said the millionaire, looking regretful. "No, me too." "I'm sorry too, William," Lucy replied. That was the last straw. Lucy could no longer hide what she was feeling and burst into tears. William was confused and felt bad, thinking he had hurt her feelings. "Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings," he said, worried. Then, Lucy told him her whole story, how her son had been stolen from her arms, how she spent years trying to find him, and her suspicions about Peter's birthmark. William hugged Lucy, trying to offer some comfort. Her tears wet his chest, but he didn't care. For the first time in her life, Lucy felt understood and loved. She felt her heart beating in the same rhythm as William's. His smell and his warm embrace calmed her. William listened to every word Lucy had to say, how she was sure Peter had the same mark as her lost son and how she suspected he could be her son. "The birthmark, William, it's just like my son's. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused." To William's surprise, Lucy pulled her hair to the side, revealing the same birthmark on her neck. It's the same mark, Lucy." "How is that possible?" said William, confused. He knew that Peter was his biological son, or so he believed. He had followed his wife's entire pregnancy, so how was that possible? How could Peter and Lucy share the same birthmark? William began to notice that Peter actually looked a lot like Lucy. Could this explain why Peter and Rachel weren't close? Was that why she never liked the little boy, because he wasn't her real son? William didn't know what to think anymore, but despite being confused, he looked Lucy straight in the eye and said kindly, "I'm so sorry for everything you've been through. I can't even imagine how much you must have suffered alone. If there's a chance that Peter really is your son, then we'll do everything we can to find out the truth together." The young woman looked at William, surprised and grateful for his support. "Thank you. I don't want you to hate me. I'm not trying to destroy your family. I just want to find my son." William and Lucy knew that they should seek the truth together. Only then would they get answers. They knew it wouldn't be an easy journey, but Peter deserved to know the truth, just like Lucy and William. The bond between William and Lucy only grew stronger in the face of such a difficult time, and the feelings they felt for each other became more and more clear. Determined to uncover the truth, William gathered DNA samples from Peter, Lucy, Rachel, and himself. Regardless of the outcome, it would change everyone's lives forever. He sent the samples to a trusted laboratory, and all they could do now was wait for the results. Over the next few days, William grew closer to Lucy. He wanted to know everything about this incredible woman who, despite having her child stolen, managed to stay strong. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived, and the results were ready. William and Lucy, with the results of the DNA test in hand, went to the garden and sat next to a beautiful bed of roses. They held hands, restless and hopeful. William's hand shook as he tried to open the envelope. A whirlwind of emotions took over his heart. First, he read the results silently, however, his expression remained the same, he had no reaction. Then, he took a deep breath and said with great pain, "Lucy, neither Rachel nor I are Peter's biological parents, but you are, as you suspected." "Oh my God!" That poor mother began to cry, not believing that she had finally found her son after so many years. To Lucy's surprise, William kissed and hugged her so hard that it felt like her heart was going to explode. "No matter what happens, I love my son, and I love you," he said, looking deep into her eyes. "I love you, William," she replied, returning his passionate kiss. Determined to overcome this situation together, William and Lucy returned inside the mansion to call Rachel and demand an explanation. But to their surprise, Rachel was sitting in the living room, completely oblivious to what had happened during her absence. "Oh, there you are, maid. Go and get me some wine." William exploded with anger and said, "What do you think you're doing? First, Lucy is not your maid. Second, how the hell do you explain this?" Then he showed her the results. After seeing the results, Rachel tried to lie her way out of the situation. She tried to trick her husband in every way possible. She even tried to kiss him, saying, "It's not what it looks like." It was only when William threatened to call the police that Rachel decided to tell the truth, leaving her little games aside. She admitted the truth coldly, without even caring about William's feelings. "Fine, you got me. You wanted a child, and I wasn't going to ruin my beautiful body with a baby, so I hired some guys to get a baby for me. I guess they just took some random baby that had just left the maternity ward. I don't really care. You wanted a child, and I gave one, so I could continue to live my amazing life, okay?" Now, Lucy was the one who was angry. She advanced on Rachel, shouting, "You're crazy. You took my son away from me. You took 5 years of our life together. I'll end you." Rachel saw that she had no way out and tried to run away, but William was faster and held her back. Enraged, William and Lucy called the police, who arrested Rachel for kidnapping and fraud. With Rachel finally out of their lives, William and Lucy were able to be together and have a family with Peter. Despite the difficulties they had to overcome, William, Lucy, and Peter lived the rest of their lives happy and united, and they built a home full of love, dedication, and honesty. If you liked the story, surely the next video that's appearing on your screen will move you too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our next videos. A huge kiss, and see you in the next story.